Sun's just come up. I've got about 8.5 hours drive ahead of me. A couple of days ago, I didn't even know I was doing this trip, but I got the sudden urge to go west, young man. Now that's what I'm doing.
You know, I like my life. I like my boring, predictable life. I like how I spend my day to day, which I reckon is important. I like my family, my friends, and my work. It took me a while, but I'm old enough now where I only do the things that I want to do. Gone are the days of going to events or RSVPing yes to something due to the fear of missing out. It's tiring keeping up with the Joneses, especially when most days, I'd rather be in bed by 9. But still, every now and then, I need a shake-up. Something spur of the moment. Keep things unpredictable, even to myself. So that's why, a couple of days ago, while daydreaming of my next photography trip, I decided, on the spot, why not make that trip happen pretty much right away? So I packed the car up, took some last-minute time off work, and set off on a road trip that would take me 9 hours to the west. Heading out to one of my favourite spots to photograph birds. My happy place. My birding mecca. My Bonnie Doon. To some of you, when I say the words Bonnie Doon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. To others, I might need to do a quick bit of explaining. For those of us of a certain age, whose country of origin has become synonymous with shrimps on the barbie, mullets that come in 2 very distinct flavours, and more recently, litigious breakdancers, there's a movie that has become part of our cultural tapestry. That movie is The Castle, a 1997 Australian film, not to be confused with the Austrian film of the same name that came out the same year with very different vibes. The version that we care about is a charming and straightforward story of a lower middle class family, who for many of those who watched it, epitomise a suburban, mundane, and close to perfect life. It starts off simple, showing the Kerrigan family's day-to-day, the pride that Darryl and his wife Sal have in the life they've created for themselves, their children, and their greyhounds. It's a story about the importance of family, the community that you build around you, and that you can rely upon in return. And, relevant to the guy in his car, halfway to Whoop Whoop, it's also, at least in part, about having a special place to get away to. For the Kerrigans, that place was Bonnie Doon, a small town in regional Victoria that sits on an unexceptional lake. A place that I've never been. A place that I don't really know anything about. But, like a lot of viewers of The Castle, a place that holds a very special place in my heart. It's not some well-renowned holiday hotspot. What makes it noteworthy isn't immediately obvious. It feels like you have to spend a bit of time there. Love it on its own terms. Appreciate the serenity. And today, as I'm heading out west, I think about the metaphor that is Bonnie Doon, and my own special place to get away to.
It's always exciting when you're heading out. You know that when you get to your destination, everything's going to be completely different. The landscape, the trees, the fauna, everything's going to completely change, and it's going to have its own ecosystem.
And so off I head, out to southwest Queensland, to the Shire of Peru. The entire place has a population of about 1,700 people. It's mostly cattle out here. Beef is one of Australia's biggest exports, with 1.3 million tonnes leaving our shores in 2024. All that red meat has got to come from somewhere, and inland Australia makes up for a good chunk of it. It's a flat, brown land, right on the edge of the outback. And while it may not look like much, at the right time can be a top spot for birds. Because it gets so dry out here, there are only a few choice water sources that everything with wings within a couple hundred k's knows about. So all you have to do is plonk yourself down in front of a dam or creek and wait for the birds to come in. 800 kilometres, or around 500 miles for our metrically challenged friends across the Pacific, is a decent drive, no matter how you slice it. So I'm up pre-dawn and on the road pretty much all day. I stop at every fuel station along the way to fill up my minuscule fuel tank. I see my fair share of wildlife. Unfortunately, a lot of it's roadkill. I eat only the best food to keep me sharp, and 2 Red Bulls, 3 cheeseburgers, a Chico roll, and more packets of shapes than I care to admit, I reach my destination in the late afternoon. It's on before I even pull up to camp.
So, there's some emus over here, which pretty close, but they're probably going to be pretty far on that screen. Let's see if this... So I find that often emus can be quite skittish, but this mob of emus got super close and they were feeding near me, and a couple of brave ones came up really close to take a look at me. And for me, having in the past always had emus be such a hard thing to photograph just because they are so careful around humans, that was really cool. It's good light, good time of day. We'll see how we go, see if we can find anything else this afternoon before it gets too dark. This is really weird. This little kangaroo, maybe a year old, and he is so interested in me. I mean, I'm lying on the ground, but he is so close. Let me show you.
Before the sun has even set on day 1, I've already had a great session with some awesome wildlife encounters.
Night 1, sleeping in the Jimny. The plan was, I didn't want to bring a tent or a swag because I want to stay pretty mobile. And I did test it, and if I put the seat down, I can stretch out pretty well. Not quite all the way, and that's the problem. I'm 6'2", just not being able to stretch out fully. Over the course of the night, you're constantly waking up and that sort of thing. It still is more comfortable than sleeping on the ground though, on the swag, because the ground's always uneven, whereas the Jimny's pretty flat for most of it. It's just... took a bit of getting used to, so I haven't had the best night's sleep, but I guess it's camping. You don't usually have the best night's sleep camping anyway. Yeah, but the sun is starting to come up, so we'll get ready and get out there and see what we see.
And for the next few days, this is my routine. Up at dawn, rolling the dice on where I think the best spot might be. Some days I get lucky, some days I don't. By 9 AM, it's hot. From late morning till 3 in the afternoon, it's unbearable. Sometimes, I spend the hottest part of the day running reconnaissance on possible shooting locations, but mostly, I find creative ways to escape the heat. And then, in the late afternoon, I'm out again, listening for the calls of pink cockatoos and Australian ringnecks. With no power, no phone reception, and no one else around, I'm forced to slow down. My mind and body gets used to just waiting. How's the serenity?
It's raining. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's been raining like this for the last hour. She's wet. Bit of a wet one last night, and it's now 7:30. Rain's predicted to hang around until 2, so might pack it in and head home. There's not a lot of point hanging around in the rain. There's no birds out while it's raining, no other wildlife, and it's just going to get muddier and muddier as the day goes on, and that'll hang around for a day or two anyway. So, best to get out now while I can and not get the car stuck in the mud.
Got about a 9-hour trip ahead of me, so I'll be getting home after dark.
Still a fair bit of moisture around, and it's going to rain all day today. Just as I was packing up, I saw that one Bourke's parrot, which is really cool. Got a couple of shots of it. Not going to win any awards, but it's cool to see it properly. I've only ever seen one before, and it was obstructed by a tree, so really cool to actually see them and see them running around on the ground. But yeah, good trip overall, if not a bit wet at the end there.
This is why I call this place my Bonnie Doon. At first it doesn't look like there's too much going on, but the more time you spend here, the more it opens up. Wildlife that you didn't notice at first. Birdsong that your ears didn't pick out. The light shifts, or the clouds roll in, and suddenly everything changes. There's a lot more going on out here than I can ever hope to see in one trip, ever capture in one video. And honestly, I like it that way. This is my 4th trip out to the Shire of Peru, but it won't be my last.